Thank you for joining us for this Lebesgue webinar called Top Mistakes You're Making When Scaling Facebook and Google Ads. And the reason why we're doing this presentation today is that we recently had a lot of questions about how do you actually scale your Facebook and Google Ads? What mistakes am I making? Why am I not able to push my spend and still get good results? We do get a lot of businesses. So to give you a bit of background about Lebesgue, so our Lebesgue AI CMO app is used by over 7,000 users. We have a whole data science team at Lebesgue that's running the numbers and crunching the advertising strategies for all of our customers all the time. We are using AI to help you actually scale your ads, but also to help make your ads more profitable and to beat the current best practices. So to know the current best practices and to beat all of the other advertisers in the market. And what's been happening is that a lot of the businesses are having trouble scaling. So usually small to mid-sized businesses wanting to be mid to big-sized businesses do get a lot of issues when they are trying to really spend more to earn more. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to share a couple of simple hacks and a couple of simple strategies that you can use to scale your Facebook advertising. So again, over 7,000 businesses that we have that are using the app and that we have analyzed all of their best performing strategies, all of their data and all of their spend coming in from Facebook and Google Ads. We've collated that and we've got a couple of strategies that everyone should know and that everyone should kind of keep in mind when they are trying to scale their Facebook ads. I'm going to show you a couple of the success stories that we've had. So as the Lebesgue team, with people using Lebesgue AI CMO to actually scale their ads, and just kind of show you these are actual users, these are actual people in our system that have been using Lebesgue to help them scale. This is one of the better examples where you're going to see a business that went from around $30,000 in new revenue, so revenue coming in from new customers, going all the way to over $500,000 in the month of November. So you're going to see the number of Facebook purchases has gone up almost 7 times. Yes, they were spending more, but they still are happy with the way that things have scaled. And using Lebesgue has actually helped them spend more, but also to earn more at a comfortable customer acquisition cost. Another business using Lebesgue went from, so if we're looking at small businesses, another business went from $3,000 of monthly first-time revenue to almost $60,000 of monthly first-time revenue as recently as January of this year. So again, yes, they were spending more, but they were also getting a lot more Facebook purchases while also still keeping a blended CAC that they are comfortable with. So it is doable, definitely.
Just to add, and the return on ad spend doubled in this process. So there, as you can see, return on ad spend increased from 46% to 82%, which is a 2x on like 4x purchases, which was a huge success here too.
Which is also not something that necessarily happens as you're spending more and as you're scaling, you're not always going to see a much higher ROAS like you are seeing here. So almost double the ROAS. And to give you one more example, just kind of show that why we're talking about this. This is the biggest business that we've seen scale going from 13K in monthly first-time revenue to over $1 million in monthly first-time revenue. So this is us looking at the data for the last almost 2 years, so a year and a half, and you are going to see that they've spent almost $4 million only on Facebook ads, but their profit has also increased 7-fold. So really a lot of these strategies that we are going to be talking about are applicable to businesses that are spending even up to $1 million in ad spend a month. These are going to be the strategies that you should be following and that you should keep in mind when scaling. And one of the first things that we wanted to mention, and that a lot of the businesses ask us, and a lot of business owners really think about this, is what do I need to have in my tech stack? So what do I need to use to be able to scale? And usually it's what we suggest is really keeping it as simple as possible and not overdoing it. So kind of the necessary tech stack that we're seeing right now in over 7,000 businesses that they are using is just these 5 things. So you're going to be looking at having a well-developed Shopify store. You're going to be using Facebook ads. You're going to be using Google ads. You do need to have an email marketing channel. So that is essential. But also it's something that is optional is using influencers and SEO. So TikTok, yes, it is optional. It is a channel for some of the businesses, but as long as you're spending around $1 million or under $1 million in advertising spend, this tech stack is going to be completely sufficient for you, and you are going to be able to scale to the numbers that we've shown in the first couple of slides. And now, talking about the tech stack, what we usually recommend is to have a stable and updated Shopify theme. So you want to have a fast Shopify 2.0 theme. We've seen a lot of success with the Dawn theme, and that's something that we can really recommend firsthand. With the email marketing tool, a lot of the times we're going to see people testing out different things. What we've had the best experience with, and what the majority of e-commerce businesses uses, is usually Klaviyo. It's really well integrated with Shopify. It's works okay on WooCommerce as well. But Klaviyo is one of the tools that we do recommend. And of course, we always do recommend ourselves, because we do help businesses scale. And that's one of the things that you should be using if you want to have a comprehensive overview of your business, if you always want to know what the best practices are, and if you really want to beat the competition and know what the competition is doing as well, which I'm going to be showing you in a couple of slides as well. And then Google Analytics 4, even though the tool is, in my opinion, worse than the previous Universal Analytics from Google Analytics, you still do need to have Google Analytics 4. It's really easy to connect it to all the e-commerce platforms that you are going to be using, and it's going to allow you for some additional insights as well. So what Lebesgue AI CMO actually does is, and how we can help you scaling, is that we are tracking over 15,000 different businesses, so different brands on the market, to help you have better marketing strategies and to help you have better results in your e-commerce business. So it's never enough just to look at yourself. It's never enough just to look at your industry. You always want to be looking at what your competitors are doing, what kind of emails they're sending out, how often they're releasing new ads, and what their strategies are. And then you want to combine that with your strategies and really try and emulate and try to get some of the good strategies that they are using. You want to be using those yourself as well. Now, let's talk about mistake number one that businesses make when they are actually trying to scale, or when they're running Facebook and Google ads in general. And this is that they're testing everything simultaneously. And a lot of the times what we're going to see is something really similar to this. So a lot of A/B testing. Sometimes it's not even just A/B testing. It's A, B, C, D, and E testing on Facebook ads, but also on the website. And this is a really good example. And Josip, I know this is your slide. So this is a really good example of what we're seeing people do. Is they're testing five to 6 to 7 different versions of Facebook ads, and they're testing, let's say, 3 to 4 to 5 different versions on the website. And you're going to have multiple variants here. And then right here on Facebook ads, you have around a 20% probability to have the people visit your best performing ad. So the ad that's going to really work for them, that's going to resonate with them, that's going to get them to your website wanting to purchase the product that you're trying to sell. But then on the website, you're still testing 3 to 4 different versions of the website or the call to action buttons. And the probability of hitting the winning flow is really under 5%. When you look at it, they have a 1/5 odds of actually seeing the winning ad, and they have 1/4 of a probability to actually seeing the best possible version of your website. So try not to do too much. When you are testing, test out 2 different Facebook ads variants leading to the same landing page, to the same website, and then iterate. So iterate with different tests once you know the winners, but don't try to do too much all at once, because you are going to be burning cash faster than you should be burning cash, and you're not going to have people coming to the winning landing pages and seeing the winning ads. So find the winners on Facebook ads, find the winners on the website, but don't do it at the same time. So there's a couple of additional issues that you're going to be running into here, and it's really the mutual compatibility of the tests, where you're showing one thing on your Facebook ads, and you might be showing a completely different thing on your website if you're testing different versions of the website. So that's going to happen in case number 1. In case number 2, your communication again might not be fully aligned on your Facebook ads, on your website, and in your email campaign flows. So when you're trying to scale, I'm guessing that you're also going to be having some trouble scaling your team and scaling your marketing efforts as well, because you're going to be testing out several different things, and you're not going to be able to account, or you're simply not going to think about it, that you're not accounting for different email flows that people are going to be going into as they're landing on your website. And then the third additional issue is going to be that Google Ads sometimes simply aren't going to fit these tests, and you're not going to be able to fully adjust Google Ads to coincide with your whole marketing strategy that you're doing on Facebook ads and that you're doing on the website, that you're doing in your email flows, and what you're communicating to your customers. So you always want to have the same communication to your customers in all different channels. And it's really hard to do if you're testing out several different iterations of your advertising, but also your website and your emails at the same time. So that's going to cause a lot of confusion. And once we've helped a lot of the businesses kind of clear this up and have a concise testing strategy, we've seen better results with them. And we were able to actually help them have better revenue when spending more.
Tony, sorry, and just to jump in, yes, this is one example.
Yeah, of course.
We hear this so many times. You know, you have one agency for Facebook ads, one agency for Google ads, one agency for website CRO, and one agency for email tracking. Each one of these agencies tries to find, you know, more work for themselves, but that means, you know, they're not compatible one with the other. You know, you are testing educational approach in ads, but you have a 30% discount on the website. You know, and these two things, you know, they're not compatible. You know, you're having two different communications on two different channels. And as a result, as we've seen, 20th user will enter the winning flow. So only 5% of your users, not that they're going to purchase, they're going to enter the winning flow. And, you know, that basically means you lose like 95% of your visitors because you don't know what you are testing and what they are seeing all the time. So reduce the numbers of tests up to like $1 million or $2 million revenue per month. You don't need more than one channel to test every week and every month. So either Facebook or Google or website, but not all three at the same time.
And it's also a lot easier to actually know where you're allocating your budget. So if you're spread out thin, doing multiple tests, testing out multiple variables, it's going to be really hard to allocate the budget properly. And when you are scaling, you want every testing dollar to actually count. And this is a success story from one of the customers, is that they were running multiple variable A/B tests. And once we kind of switched that to single variable A/B test, what the result was a 25% improvement in conversion rate and a much more efficient ad spend. So that's something that you want to keep in mind when you are testing out different things in your advertising and on the website. Mistake number 2 is really just make sure that your website and that your technology, your tech stack that you're using on Shopify is streamlined and that you're using the proper apps that work well with each other. Now, why am I mentioning this? Because we've seen some big mistakes done here, and let me show you just on the example of one brand that's a $50 million a year brand. So $50 million of revenue in 1 year. And what was happening here is that their Shop Now button wasn't working because they had installed an app that they didn't even need, didn't even know what was going to be what it's going to be doing. And even though it was compatible with Shopify, it was not compatible with some of the other things that they were running on their website. So what they saw is the Shop Now button wasn't working, and once the unnecessary apps were removed, once the JavaScript code was cleaned up, it really did fix the conversion bottleneck that they were having on the website. And they had, after that, so just kind of fixing that, they did have a 30% boost in sales. So whenever you're installing any sort of new technology, make sure it's going to work with your current technology. Don't overdo it on the apps. Don't overcomplicate it. So keep it simple and use the tech stack that you know is actually working and that's not going to break parts of your website. So we've seen things break in the most kind of unthinkable ways and unthinkable reasons, and it's something that you do need to keep an eye on, even when you are a big business as well. Yes, I see we've got a question in the chat. If you do want to jump on that, maybe.
Let's cover that later. I think there'll be more questions. This is a really good one, but let's cover maybe questions later.
Okay, awesome. So mistake number 3 is really not using the best practices in Facebook ads. And that's one of the things that our app and that our technology can help you beat, is that when you're a business running your ads, so even if you have an agency, even if you're doing it in-house, and for the people who joined us, thank you so much for joining us. You do have the chat. If you have any questions, you can join us in the chat and ask questions during the presentation. Like I've mentioned, we are going to be sending out the webinar via email once we are done, both the video and the PDF as well. Sorry for jumping in with that. Just needed to let the people who are kind of still trickling in know that this is all going to be available later on as well. But talking about best practices on Facebook, what we've seen is that a lot of the time businesses are not going to know what's currently working on Facebook because they have this bias of just looking at their own data, or the agency that's running their ads has the bias of looking at data from 10, 15, 20 clients that they're currently managing, and they really can't know what's working in the market best like Lebesgue can, because we are analyzing over 7,000 different businesses currently running Facebook and Google ads, and our data science team is able to find these best practices, verify them statistically, and share them with our customers as well. So just talking about the best practices as of February, so this is as recent as it gets. What we're seeing in the data that Advantage Plus placements are the best possible strategy that you can use on Facebook ads. So going with automatic placements, placing your ads wherever you can on Facebook. Don't use lookalike audiences because they're outdated and they are impacting your CPM, which is going to be higher, and your click-through rates and conversion rates are not going to be equally higher to justify the additional cost of these ads. Use a single ad per ad set. We've mentioned this a million times. This gives you more control over what the algorithm is doing, and using a single ad per ad set is going to yield you better results. Creative fatigue, you've got to keep an eye on that as well. Usually what we're seeing work best is around three frequency on prospecting ads, and up to 7 is still okay on retargeting ads. So the data shows that you can show your ads up to 3 times on prospecting and 7 times on retargeting and still get the best possible results. If we're talking about scaling, you probably already know this, but I can't stress this enough. If you're an e-commerce business, what you want to be doing is you always want to optimize for purchases. So if you're seeing other strategies and other people telling you, yeah, you should first optimize for traffic, you should optimize for leads, and then optimize for purchases with these audiences, this is not going to work. So this is garbage in, garbage out. If you optimize for link clicks is what you're going to be getting. You can retarget these people and optimize for purchase as much as you want. This is a cheap audience that's really not likely to purchase your product ever, and it's not going to be a good strategy. So always optimize for purchases. The data shows this very, very clearly. And when allocating your budget, don't overspend on retargeting. So depending on your AOV, usually the best possible split between prospecting, so going for cold audiences, and retargeting is going to be around 85 to 15. You can adjust that accordingly. If you have a high AOV product and a longer purchasing process, you can go to 20, 25, sometimes even 30% spent on retargeting. But for a majority of businesses spending less than $1 million in ad spend a year, what you should be looking at is 85 to 15 split with prospecting and retargeting. And to show you a bit more data, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of this slide is, just take a screenshot of this, send to your agency, send to your marketing team. We wanted to put like some of this basic stuff in front of your eyes, screenshot it, send it to your marketing team, and make sure they're following these best practices. These are like easy wins, just a couple of button clicks that can improve your return on ad spend by like 20, 30, 40% on Facebook specifically.
Yeah. So take a screenshot or just take the whole slide once we send it after the call.
Yeah, correct.
And speaking about lookalike audiences, so this is the budget allocation that businesses are using on lookalike audiences versus everything else. And you're going to notice that this is falling under 5% on a monthly level, where businesses in the market are no longer spending money on lookalike audiences. And there's a very good reason for that as well. So the lookalike audiences right now don't have a good ROAS. And when you're looking at over $600 million of ad spend that we've analyzed in the last 2 years, what you're going to see is that broad targeting is going to have a higher ROAS, so a higher return on ad spend that lookalike audiences are going to have. We're not going to be looking at retargeting at all because it's always going to have a higher ROAS, but lookalike audiences have a higher CPM and a lower ROAS when you're trying to scale your ads. So always go as broad as possible. Don't use interest targeting. Don't use lookalike targeting. It simply doesn't work anymore. If you or your agency are currently using lookalike audiences, please do test out broad targeting as well, because I can almost guarantee you that you are going to be seeing better results with broad targeting, and with everything that Facebook and Google are doing with broad. you're going to be seeing much better results and a much higher ROAS.
I think the last time that we've seen lookalike audiences work better was like 4 years ago or something like that. I mean, you can see the decrease of the adoption of lookalike audiences. It's just like an outdated strategy. It's a big red flag if you have a lookalike audience still active on your ad account, especially if they're spending most of your marketing budget.
And even if you're talking to meta marketing managers, they are going to be recommending going broad as much as possible. So even they know that lookalike targeting is no longer really the best strategy that you can use on Facebook ads. Now, one of the other mistakes that we're seeing is brand versus non-brand conversions on Google. And this is a really big thing that's kind of been popping up lately, especially with the advent of PMAX campaigns and with more people using PMAX campaigns, just cannibalizing their other search campaigns. So this is one of the bigger things that you want to keep an eye out on. If you're doing your ads on your own, do check this. If you have an agency running your Google ads, check how much money you're spending on brand conversions versus how much money you're spending on non-brand conversions, because you could be surprised with how much money you are spending just to get the people who would have already purchased because they are searching for your brand keyword. And we really had a very, very good success story recently with a bigger business is that they really had this mixed strategy on Google Ads. So brand keywords were basically included in every single campaign, Google Ads campaign that they were running. And what was happening is that every single campaign was reporting conversions on the goal, kind of the goal that they wanted to have, just looking at the naming, but all of the conversions were happening just from brand keywords. So everyone was looking for the business directly, getting the ads in different campaigns, but still converting only in brand keywords. And once we kind of help them implement these separate campaigns, both for search and PMAX, so really just having brand keywords in a brand keyword campaign and everything else excluding this, what happened here is that we've had a 40% increase in brand conversion, in the conversion rate on brand keywords, and a 20% increase in click-through rate on non-brand campaigns, with 300% increase in new customer acquisition on non-brand keywords. So this is really important to know. It's really important to check your Google Ads account for this potential mistake that you are making when you're just kind of pouring more money into Google Ads and not necessarily seeing this come back in actual business results, but just Google reported conversions. You might not be impacting your bottom line as much as you think you actually are. So definitely one of the things to check on Google Ads. And now this is what we've seen in the success story. So in 6 months, we've seen 2 non-brand conversions happening on Google Ads. And after making the change, the ROAS went up to 1,080%, and they've had 16 non-brand conversions just in the last 30 days. And for everyone asking questions in the chat, thank you. We are going to be getting to those later on after the slides. Do you agree with that, Josip? Yeah.
Yeah, and so just to reiterate here, Tony and I could not believe, what was the impact on results when separating brand and non-brand, because you can target more specific keywords, you can put better headlines, you can put better landing pages, and your quality score is going to go up, meaning the cost per click will go down and conversion rate, everything works all together much better. We could not believe what was the impact on Google Ads just by separating brand, non-brand in PMAX and in classic search campaigns. One additional thing here, everything that you've seen on Facebook and Google parts is detectable via our software. So you can just connect your Facebook and Google accounts, and it will find all of the mistakes that you've seen automatically and ping you on potential improvements that you can make on your ad account. Yeah, Tony, we can continue.
Yeah, okay, awesome. All right, and again, sorry if I'm laughing when I'm looking at these mistakes. It's just something that we kind of, I see so often, and now that we finally have a webinar that we can share with all of you, I'm just happy to be here and to be going over this. So one of the kind of bigger mistakes is not streamlining your funnel. And let me show you what I mean by that is kind of the common mistakes when you're thinking about your advertising strategy and your website strategy is, okay, I'm doing this on ads, I'm doing this on website. It's always just going to be, okay, I just need to get more people on my website through my ads, and then the website is going to do its thing. And then you kind of oftentimes overlook what you're doing on the website. So you're communicating one thing in the ads, you're doing one thing on the website. You're not really just looking at into how easy it is to actually make a purchase, because customers these days are really have kind of an issue with their concentration, and you don't want to lose them at any point of your conversion funnel. So a lot of the times businesses are overlooking what they're doing on the homepage, and they're thinking about, okay, yeah, I'm just landing people on this landing page and they're going to make a purchase straight away from this landing page. I don't need to think about the homepage. I'm going to do 5 different landing pages for 5 different ads, and that's just going to be it. I'm going to show you with the data that that's not necessarily always the case. Businesses do have complicated navigation, so too many steps from the homepage to actually making a purchase on the website. So you want to make it as easy as possible. You want to have this as a 4-step process and control every step of the way to make it as easy as possible for customers to actually make a purchase. And then we're coming again to inconsistent brand messaging, where what you're doing on your marketing doesn't necessarily match with what you're doing on your homepage. And again, you might be thinking, if I'm landing people on a landing page, why do I need to think about a homepage? Is because of this. So a lot of the times what's going to be happening here is that people are going to be going from starting a session to different landing pages that you are going to be creating for them. But in around 20 to 30% of the cases, these people are going to be going back to the homepage. So they're just going to be clicking on your logo that you have up in your header, and they're going to move back to the homepage and try to find out more about the product and how to purchase it. So it's never just going to be landing on a landing page and then making a purchase straight from it. What you want to do is you want to make sure that your homepage is also actually converting and that it's good at converting. So kind of the flow that you need to make sure is actually working is sort of like this. So you want to have your homepage that's working well, that's going to lead customers to collection pages. If you're a one product brand, you don't need to think about collection pages, think about your product page. If you're selling multiple products, think about how you would be navigating from your homepage to different collections, and how you would want to purchase this in as little time as possible while still finding out everything about the product. So homepage, moving on to the collections page, moving on to the product page, and then moving on to the checkout page, which you can't control all of the time. But when you can control it, don't make it complicated. So don't install a lot of apps. Don't do a lot of upsell in the checkout page. Do that in the cart page if you can. But on the checkout page, what you want the customer to do is first name, last name, address, card. So card info, hit the buy now button, and actually purchase the product. So keep this as streamlined and as simple as you possibly can. Yes, any comments?
A question that I wanted to mention anyway. So what we've seen, for example, with fashion brands, you don't even have to land users on a homepage. Just land them directly on a collections page. If you're selling bags, dresses, tops, swimwear, just land them on a collections page. Everyone knows what these products are. They want to be as close to the to see the collections, decide what to purchase, and proceed to the checkout. And the key thing is that you don't need dedicated landing pages for different audiences on Facebook, for different campaigns on Facebook, because what we've seen, 30% of users will always go back to the homepage. So the bottleneck for your checkout process is the homepage. It's not dedicated landing pages. And the more pages you have, more potential things can go wrong. A call to action button is not going to work on one page. Other one is going to be broken. JavaScript is not triggering on the third one. Is going to create chaos for your business. Keep it simple, straightforward. What you want is to users understand on the homepage what brand is about, what products do we offer, and how to check out easily. And that's it.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for jumping in on this, Josip.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about it.
And again, now we've mentioned competitor strategies. We've mentioned what Lebesgue AI CMO can actually do for you. And a lot of the times people are just going to be stuck in their own little bubble, just looking at their own brand and trying to think of strategies on their own, while these strategies are already readily available in the market. You can already see what different businesses from your niche are doing, and you can do that with Lebesgue AI CMO. So a lot of the times businesses are going to be ignoring what the competitors are doing with their creatives or you're just going to be doing it sporadically, just checking, okay, so I have this competitor. You're going to think about it maybe once a month and check out what they're doing at the moment, what sort of ads they're doing, what they're running, and what was launched 5 or 6 or 7 days ago, and not really track this all the time. A lot of the times businesses are going to be overlooking different email strategies from competitors, and we also do have a solution for that that's going to be released really, really soon. So you want to know what your competitors are doing in email as well. And again, you can subscribe to those on your own, but you can also track emails from thousands of different businesses that we already do have in our database. And you're not necessarily looking at the keyword insights for Google Ads and not doing what your competition is doing and what sort of ads they're potentially doing. So let me just show you a quick overview of what this would look like for me and for our users when they are trying to figure out what their competition is doing with their ads. So I have this competitor landscape open in Lebesgue AI CMO, and I've input a couple of different competitors here. So what I'm able to track for these competitors and for these brands is how many different brand keyword searches they're having month over month. So I don't have to think about whether or not they're spending more on Facebook ads. Usually when they're spending more on Facebook ads, they're going to have more brand keyword searches as well. And you as business owners probably know this, that when you're spending more on CPM ads, so when you're spending more on social, be it Facebook or TikTok or other platforms, you're also going to have a lot more people search for your brand. So you can check how their brand keyword searches are looking like. And let's look at Italic. So Italic's probably spending less than in September. They were probably spending a bit more. We can look at the number of followers that they do have on social networks. Also, email tracking is going to be available here really soon. So this is still a pre-production version. So I can't really show you how this looks like, but this is something that we're super excited about, and it's going to be released in a couple of days. So you're also going to be able to actually download the emails that these brands have been sending for the last couple of months and see which sort of strategies that they're using in their emails as well. And then you can potentially emulate that as well if you're going to be interested in that. But one of the bigger things is, let's look at Reformation. So they have over 1 million brand searches. So they are one of the bigger brands that we're following here. What you can actually do is you can look at the ads that they're running. So how many ads they currently have active, how many ads were new since the last scan, what they turned off, and you can actually look at their ads. Sorry, some of these, again, I'm looking at this in our pre-production database, so not everything is really imported here, but you're going to be able to look at what they're doing in their Facebook ads as well.
Let me switch to BeautyPie. I think BeautyPie has a better data set here. Yeah, and just show.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with the turned off ads.
I mean, look, you can see like 640 turned off ads by BeautyPie here. You can see how long these ads have been running. This, for example, one mistake that they're doing, they have a learn more call to action button. That's one of our next slides in this webinar. But yes, you can see when they launch these ads, how long these ads have been running. We have an estimate performance of your competitor ads, and you can see below Google ads too. So what are currently active ads on your competitor website that are running on Google ads too.
Yeah.
And once you have all this for email, sorry, Tony, we're running this for email, so we can have a complete picture of what your competitor is doing on Facebook, on Google, and on email strategies. And we are doing this for over 15,000 brands to have a complete picture on the whole market per industry globally and for each one of your competitors.
Okay. Sorry, wasn't sure if you were glitching or just stopped talking. You were really, really still. But once you've done all of that, what you want to do is then we were talking about best practices and talking about best practices in your ads and your ads copy. So what you can do then is you can actually go and look at and again, this is randomized data, you can look at your own creative strategy and check out how much money you're spending on prospecting versus retargeting, how much discounts you're giving to how much discounts you're giving out in your ads versus how much money you're spending on non-promotional ads. different ad types that you're currently running. Then if you go into your creative catalog with these super fake ads with just Tony Test Shop right here, what you can actually do on this is you can use GPT-4 that we've implemented in the app to actually create better copy and to get insights on your ads based on the data that we're tracking from over 7,000 businesses in Lebesgue. So if you just hit the details button on this, you're going to have GPT actually give you an overview of what's doing well in your ads and what's not doing well in your ads. And you're going to get creative feedback to actually help you do better ads. So GPT is going to be able to tell you what you should potentially be improving here, what sort of communication you should be having. And like I've mentioned, this is all based on our data set that we have with over $6 million of ad spend coming in from different businesses using Facebook and Google Ads. So, yes, I see you're checking the copy, and this is really an awesome deal for us. We've seen businesses have awesome results just by using different copy variations that they found using Lebesgue AI CMO and the creative strategy feature.
Yeah. And so again, idea here is that this scans, you've seen like 640 turned off ads by BeautyPie. This scans all of these ads by BeautyPie. It analyzes what are good elements of BeautyPie ads, and it suggests that to implement to your Facebook strategy, to your Google Ads strategy to improve your marketing results. And you will see now back in the webinar slides, we do find lots of like these simple hacks that improve your content. All of this is incorporated in our like creative feedback feature in the software.
Yeah. And talking about easy content wins and talking about content in general, let me show you a couple of things. And this is not actually a mistake, but this is going to be one final thing that I'm going to be leaving you with before you all head off the webinar and really just install a Lebesgue AI CMO, see for yourself on your data what you can actually do and how you can scale your ads better. Let me show you a couple of easy content wins. So starting ads with a question. So the data shows that starting ads with a question is going to increase curiosity, it's going to increase engagement, which is going to lead to higher click-through rates. Higher click-through rates means more sessions on your website, means that if you keep your conversion rate stable on the website with more people on it, you are going to be able to scale. So you want as high as possible a click-through rate while still getting a good conversion rate. And when people are curious about your product, simply because you're doing a little psychology and asking questions in your ads, you're going to be able to get better results. One other thing is that in your content, you want to be using free shipping if you're offering free shipping, and you want to be using a 10% discount on the first order. So getting 10% off has become really an industry standard if you're doing a sort of normal AOV. If you can give 10% off the first order, people simply love discounts. So your click-through rate is going to be much better, and your CPM is not going to be changing, but your conversion rate and click-through rate is going to be increased if you are offering free shipping and if you're offering 10% off on the first order. If you can then retarget these people via email and get them back to your website to actually continue making purchases, this is going to pay off in the long run as well, because your lifetime value is going to be much more valuable in the long run, like I've mentioned.
Tony, and just to
one other
of this, sorry, Tony. So what is a mistake here is, for example, if you offer 10% off first-time order and you run a sale on the website and the pop-up for 10% first-time order still appears, but it's not stackable with a sale. That's a huge mistake. You will lose like 25% of your revenue for the sale because people will get hyped about stacking the codes, and then it's not going to work. I even prefer to run stackable codes. Everyone thinks they're hacking you. They will check out sooner because they will think it's a glitch on your website, but actually you're getting like 40% lower customer acquisition cost on that. So that's super important when you're running discounts. Make sure they're compatible with everything on your website. And this, relates back to the multiple landing pages and the tons of apps that you have. If you combine too many things, you won't be able to control what's happening on the page. I just wanted to mention this on the top of this, like easy. These are really easy content wins.
Yeah, really good insight, really good jump in. Thanks, Yasmin. Also, one more thing that we've noticed is, so on Google Ads, since Google is pay-per-click, you want to be including your price, if you can, include your price in your Google Ads. because what this is actually doing is this is going to impact your click-through rate, but usually in a good way. So you're not going to have unqualified people clicking on your ads because they're going to be pre-qualified with seeing the price in the ads already. So you're going to be attracting people who are more likely to convert because they already do know the price and they're still coming to your website. They already know more about the product. So their conversion rate is going to be higher. And this is really it's really just good to have pricing transparency in your ads. And on Google, you usually want to be showing your price because it is going to lead to more qualified customers on the website actually making more purchases. And this is just a quick, easy win that you can have on Google Ads. And also one big thing is don't use the learn more call to action button in your Facebook ads and in your social ads. You want to be using shop now. So you're already preparing people for what they're going to be doing on the website. They are going to be shopping. They're not going to be learning about your product. It's going to be them actually shopping. And whenever we've had people test this out, and whenever we've had people test this out on their websites and in their ads, Shop Now was always working better than all other call to action buttons, both in ads but also on the e-commerce website that you are actually running. Just to give a quick summary, so I'm not going to be reading over these slides. I am just going to be quickly leaving them here, and just optimize your ad strategy, focus on clarity, focus on simplicity, and have really just strategic insights to maximize your performance and to maximize your ROI. We've shared a couple of mistakes that we've seen businesses doing based on a very, very large data set that we do have. Our data science team has gotten these strategies. These have been verified by the market, and these are going to be your key takeaways and key action points that you want to take away from this webinar. So that would be it that we wanted to share, Josip, I think. And this is, again, going to be shared to your email addresses. You're going to have the video shared as well. But now I think that we can go to your questions. And if you have any questions, just please do leave them in the chat below, because we are open for questions and we're going to be giving out answers. So Josip, where were we? I think you were following the chat a bit more than I was, right?
Yes, we have tons of really, really good questions.
Awesome.
One additional thing, so everything that you've seen here is detectable via our software. So all of the mistakes, all of the best practices, all of the content suggestions, all of your competitor ads, we track all of this in our tool. You can use it for free. So, like we build it so you don't make mistakes that, we've seen businesses doing historically, basically for the last 10 years since we are in this space. Tony, for the questions, maybe you can read them and I answer them. I think not all of them are visible in the chat. Some are just to hosts and panelists.
Oh, yeah, I see. Hosts and panelists. Okay, cool. So I do see a question coming in from Angela, and really interesting points on ad testing. How do you determine the optimal number of tests to run without overwhelming your audience? So what's going to be the optimal number of tests that you want to run this?
I'm tempted to go with like simple thing here, like 4. Like you can run like 4 tests on Facebook at the same time. And I'm talking about spending $1,000 per day or spending $20,000 per day. You don't need more than 4 tests at the same time. And while you're doing that, don't touch the website. I mean, it does depend on the budget. So if your daily budget is $100,000, you can probably run 10 tests. But I'm still leaning towards, doing 3 days tests on a bigger budget than, slowly killing your budget with like $100 per day budget on like 20 tests or something like that. Keep it simple. Keep it, understandable. When you open the account, you want to know what is happening. You want to know which ad tanked. So don't do more than 4 tests, basically. No matter the ad spend, I would say here.
Okay, awesome.
Like
moving on
for prospecting, for retargeting, you can play around with that, but don't go much more than 4 ads at the same time.
Okay. Question from John regarding the Shopify apps. Is there a rule of thumb as to how many apps you should have? And John would like to know how we evaluate this. And I really don't think there's a really good answer to say how many is too many, but once you make sure that every single thing that you have in your Shopify store and that's installed and that's working on the front end is actually doing something on the website. So make sure that any app that's touching the front-end code is actually used at that time, and that you're not having anything that's redundant. If you're thinking about spinning wheels, probably don't have spinning wheels. Yeah, I see yes, Lav, but spinning wheels have been a really big strategy a couple of years ago. Right now, spinning wheels don't necessarily work. You might want to have chat, you might not want to have chat, because it is going to slow down your website, but how many people are actually using it on the website? If it's not used by customers, and if it's not something that's improving your conversion rates, get rid of it. So John, you're probably not going to get the answer that you want, which is a number, but everything that you do have that's on the front end, make sure that it's actually doing something, because what it's doing for sure right now is probably slowing down your website, because it's additional JavaScript code that needs to be loaded every single time that your website is open, and speed can sometimes be better than an app that customers are not using.
Yeah, and Tony, maybe just to add, like, what is too many? We can tell you definitely what you don't need. Like Google Tag Manager, you don't need for a Shopify store. Pixel attribution, things like NordBeam or Triple Whale, you most likely only run Facebook ads and Google ads. You don't need attribution if you have 2 marketing channels, and they're going to slow down your page by like a factor of 6 or 7. So simplify your life here. You don't need preview pop-ups and Klaviyo pop-ups and intercom chat and rewardful and giftful apps all at the same time. Just go with intercom chat, that's it. Or just go with the pop-ups. Simplify your life again. If you have chat that is popping up all the time, but no one is able to talk to users because no one is online, just drop it. Simplify your life again. I would say for front-end part, you should not have more than 4 apps that interfere with your front-end. That's like one of a rule of thumbs that I would say. Yeah, though, if you need more questions, need more answers, feel free to reach out on the email and we can elaborate this further.
Yeah, of course. Another question coming in from Rebecca. For Facebook ads best practices, how often should we refresh creatives to avoid ad fatigue, but also maintain a consistent brand message?
This is a hard one. Just a moment.
Yeah. I would say from my personal experience, I usually focus on ad frequency. So if you're doing broad targeting, if you have a broad enough audience, what you can actually afford to do is have a frequency under 3 on prospecting without needing to change the creative too often. So don't just go and change the creative for the purpose of changing the creative and keeping the brand fresh. You want to do it on a monthly or bi-monthly basis if you can actually afford to do it, and if you can actually have the time to do it. So a lot of the smaller brands don't really have the bandwidth to update the creative as much as they would want to, but also as much as they think it's needed. But it's usually often less needed than brands believe it is needed. So refreshing creative when you have high frequencies on your ad spend, you do want to kind of shake it up a bit and have new creatives based on what the current best strategies are and what your competition is doing as well.
I would even say refresh your creatives when you find the better creatives. So I used to run one creative for 7 years on one ad account, spend $100,000 per month, every month for 7 years. We did not find anything better, until your marketing team, your creative team figures out a better creative. Just stick with the one that is working. So a refreshing of the creatives should be function of return on ad spend, not of ad fatigue or a rule of thumb or anything. When you find a better creative, remove the old one. Yeah.
And a question coming in from Ahmad. Can you elaborate on how separating brand and non-brand campaigns on Google Ads specifically impacts the overall ad spend efficiency? So talking about Google Ads and having the campaigns separated into brand and non-brand, it impacts the efficiency massively. So you always want to have your brand keywords lumped into one campaign. So if someone is searching for your exact brand name, you want to lead them to the brand campaign, which is going to have super big click-through rates, but it's also going to have really good conversion rates, and it's going to be a very cheap cost per purchase. And you want to keep the spend control there so that you can efficiently spend your money on Google Ads on campaigns that are actually search optimized and that are PMAX as well. So you want to know how much you're spending on customers who already know about the brand versus people who are landing on different Google campaigns that do have different objectives and different messaging. So having this separated should help you a lot, I would say. Joseph, do you agree?
Oh, yes, I agree. Sorry, we can
Okay.
continue. I'm reading the questions. There's plenty of more questions. So yeah.
Okay, so preparing for this. All right. And now, you're suggesting, so you're suggesting to use the homepage as the main landing page instead of creating custom landing pages for Facebook or Meta traffic?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Either homepage or collections page. In some specific cases, product pages work the best, but it should be one of these three. Like if you need to create a new landing page to convert your traffic, that means your page is not good. So work on improving your homepage, work on improving your product page. You don't need a dedicated landing pages. What we are seeing agencies frequently doing is selling you, custom custom landing pages and then giving $20 off on these custom landing pages. So that's not why you are building a custom landing pages to give $20 off. Figure out your homepage, product page, collections page, and that's it. We definitely suggest that whoever asked that.
Okay. And a question coming in from Ahmad. I'm curious about the competitor analysis. How frequently should we be looking at our competitors' strategies to stay relevant, but also unique in our approach?
Yeah. So our software scans your competitors every 2 weeks, and it scans in real time all of their email campaigns. I would say, like once a month, you need to do a deep dive on what your competitor is doing. How we are using our creative strategies right now is every week I like to see what creative strategies is saying based on updated information about my competitor creatives. So I would say like once in a month, doing a deep dive on your competitors, just to make sure you did not miss on like 30% promotion that they're running, or like 40% promotion, or launching of a new product. If you're looking at them, they're also looking at you. It's doable via the publicly available tools or our software, but at least once a month, I would say, not to miss on something big that they're doing. Don't you agree, or?
Yeah, of course. Around once a month kind of seems like a sweet spot to me. You don't want to get overwhelmed by it, but you do need to kind of have that habit of doing that at least once a month, checking what was done with your competitors and where they're kind of tracking right now.
Actually, Tony, Održiva rješenja replied to that question, so we did get an answer there.
Awesome.
And it is the same as we said. So thanks a lot for this reply in the chat too.
Thanks.
The next question is great, Tony, if you can read it.
Yeah, so John 365, what if the product is expensive? We're having issues with huge drop-offs on the product page when visitors see the price. Do you still think it's useful to use it in the ad?
Yeah. This is a great question. So what we need to understand is fundamental difference between Facebook ads and Google ads. On Facebook ads, you're paying for impressions. That means every click is free. So on Facebook, you don't want to mention the price of your product because you're paying for impressions. You just want people to click and get interested in the product. But on Google ads, you're paying for click. So you only want super filtered clicks who already know a lot of your brand and have high intent to purchase. So if they're dropping off on your website, on your product page, they will also drop on Google ads because they will not click if product is too expensive. So on Google ads, definitely mention the price. On Facebook ads, don't mention the price, get people to your product page and make sure to collect their emails, and then you can spam them for next couple of months, why they should be purchasing your product. For more expensive products, so Google ads usually work better for more expensive products than Facebook ads, just because you can target long tail keywords where users search for a specific problem. So Google ads will probably work better than Facebook ads. And make sure to quantify why users want to purchase from your brand. For example, we have one customer, they're selling expensive chairs or expensive standing desks. You want to quantify how many hours they're sitting in front of the computer working, and why it's a good investment to invest in a more expensive product, because broken down by month or day, it's going to be valuable for you. So quantifying the value that you get works well in this more expensive product space. John 365, great question. Thanks a lot.
Yep, and thanks for the other question as well. Sorry?
You want to answer the don't theme one or?
Yeah, I was just about to get to it. So I saw you recommended the Dawn theme. Can you expand a bit more? We're thinking about changing the theme, so I'm interested. So we've actually done some work with the Dawn theme. It's a really stable theme that allows for enough customization that you do need as an e-commerce business on Shopify. So it's a Shopify 2.0 theme. It supports all the latest and greatest that Shopify has released. What you want to do is, if you're updating to the Dawn theme, make sure you're updating your website to the latest version of the Dawn theme. Keep it stable, but it's also going to allow for a lot of customization. It's a really super speedy theme. So we've seen improvements with people using this, going from a page speed score of 10 to 12, going all the way up to 50-ish to 60-ish, right, Josip?
Yeah, correct. And one thing, so Dawn theme will complicate your life if you want to do stupid things on the website, basically. So that's why I like it. If someone wants to do something that doesn't make any sense, it's going to be hard to do it on Dawn theme. So you will reevaluate if you really want to do it. It's a complex theme. I mean, complex. You do need a developer to work on Dawn theme. It's not just like drag and drop builder, but it will guarantee you a stability and regular updates with all of the things that Shopify is launching. So we've seen really, really good examples with Dawn theme. John, if you've seen our success stories, first 3 slides, all 3 businesses are on the Dawn theme. And before, after they switch from something else to Dawn theme, that's why we are recommending it. We've always seen a better results when switching to Dawn theme than to from something else. Though we are not the experts on like turbo theme or boost theme or like whatever is popular, repo theme. We do recommend the Dawn theme though. It is difficult. So whatever you have right now, John, if you want, feel free to follow up on the email. These are all great questions. It's 1 month of work, so you will need to hire a freelancer for 1 month of work to switch to Dawn theme. If you want, just drop us your email address. We can check it. Just drop us your email address. We can check it a bit and get tell you if it makes sense to switch or not. But all the questions look very interesting. I hope we can give you some suggestions. Thanks.
Awesome. And John, but also everyone else in the chat and in the webinar right now, I've left our email addresses in the chat. So if you ever do need us, if you ever have any questions, feel free to just drop us a couple of lines in our inboxes. We'd be more than happy to help. And with this and all the questions that we've actually gone through is what I'm going to be leaving you with. So it's going to be the key takeaways and actions that you as a business owner or as an agency owner do want to keep in mind. We are going to be sharing all of these slides via email. So once everything is collated, once the video is done, we're going to have that in your inbox. And if you ever have any questions, you know where to find us. And we're looking forward to seeing you all in the next webinar. Have an awesome day, guys. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for spending this last hour with Josip and me.
Yeah, thanks all.